Welcome to my channel. Today we are going to learn count method from CrudRepository. As I said before, CrudRepository is an interface. We use this interface to connect with the database and pull the data from the database. We can perform 4 operations and a lot of operations. Basically, we perform create, read, update, delete operations by using CrudRepository from SpringBoot JPA, starter or dependency. The key features of CrudRepository is we can perform CRUD operations like create, read, update, delete. And we write entity class. The entity class is nothing but is a table. It's a class that represents a table in the database. By using entity class, we perform operations. And we can write query methods by using name, like a first name, last name, entity attributes. It's simple. Just add the dependency and start using it. In the code repository, we have a lot of methods. For creating, we can use save method. For update also, we can use save method. For reading, we can use find by ID, find all, few other find methods are available. For delete, we have delete by ID, delete all, etc. methods are available. Today, we are going to learn count. So we are going to implement count method. The count method is available from the Spring Code repository. So basically, count method is nothing but is an inbuilt function from the code repository. We can pull count of rows available of a table. It will return long data type. Basically, if you look at the count, how it will work with the SQL is it will write count select query, means select count star from table. So this is the representation of query from SQL. To implement this function, basically we write few classes: entity class, repository class, service class, method class. If you write entity class, you should provide entity from Jakarta persistence package so that SpringBoot reads this class as entity, which means this user table deals with a table. This user entity deals with a table from the database. ID annotation is nothing but that long ID variable is a primary key column in the database. So this is how we can define an entity class. And we have to create a repository, our own repository interface, extend CrudRepository, and we need to provide entity class as well as primary key column so that our class extends CrudRepository so that we can use count method from CrudRepository. So I'm writing a service method here or service class here. I'm annotating this class as service, means is a component plus service. That's how SpringBoot treat this class. And I'm getting user repository object by using auto void, means whenever the Spring load this class, it will create an object and make it available at Spring Boot. We can straight away use it. So in the client, basically I'm not going with the main method. I'm just using REST controller. So in the REST controller class, I'm annotating service class with auto void, which means I'm getting user service object. On the top of that, I'm getting the user count. If you look at user count implementation from the service, basically is doing user repository.count, means it is calling CRUD's count method. So I'm going to implement this currently. So let's look into the code. Let's create a project. Count example Java Maven 21 var should be JPA. Plus MySQL web. Web is for the REST calls. Let's go to resources and I'm adding my database details. Running this application, base application. I didn't do any code changes. Yeah, I don't see any issues. So it's connected to database, no issues. Let's create some packages. Entity service repository rest. So in the entity, I'm going to create a class company. Editing. Let's go to database first. If you go to database, you see company. It has two columns. So company has ID and company name. So create entity primary key ID company underscore name. So this is an entity and this is the primary key. Okay, let's create repository company repo should be interface extend CrudRepository. Perfect. Let's create a service. Let's create a service. Public long get count. So let's create the implementation for this guy. Implementation. Implements, yes. Okay. So what I'm going to do here, let me get this company repo and auto wiring means I'm getting this object whenever the Spring Boot. So I'm marking this class as service. This one has a repository. Okay, so company. So what I will do, for that count means it is getting the count from CrudRepository long. So this is done. This is done. Okay. Okay, cool. So what I will do, let's create a REST. REST class, company REST with the REST controller. So I'm getting private this guy because I need to access this method. Okay, implement. Okay, auto void, which means whenever the Spring loads started, it will create an object and make it available for us. We are not creating an object. Public long count. So what I will do this guy get count. Okay. The count of all rows in the table company is okay. So this is the one I'm returning. So if I access this particular company count, if I access this URL through get, I should get how many records we have? 6. Yes, 6 should be displayed in the browser. Let's run this guy. So the application has started. 6 is displayed. 6. Let me do one thing. So start one. Okay, delete one row. So we have 5 rows. 5 rows. Say 5 is displayed. Count of all rows in the table 6. It changed to 5. So this is how we can use count method.